San Antonio was the first city to use a military technique to save lives at home.
It's really overwhelming to see the people that are affected by this program.
Today, first responders, blood donors, and former patients celebrated the program Brothers in Arms. Eyewitness News reporter Erica Zucco spoke with a local dad who says this unique technique saved his life.
As it lifts off for a life-saving mission, what's inside this helicopter could make all the difference. Feet away inside the South Texas Blood and Tissue Center, George Ortiz understands firsthand after an accident on a drilling machine at work changed his life.
I caught between like two pieces of machining, and it caught my leg and like twisted it and almost like tore it off all the way.
First responders rushed to help, equipped with life-saving whole blood thanks to Brothers in Arms. The project was inspired by military medical care.
The experience we had in the military, in the combat zone, giving whole blood and seeing its life-saving power.
All the donors are O-positive men because men have lower levels of antibodies which can prevent reactions, and O-positive can be used on almost anyone. Medics bring whole blood on medical helicopters. Today, as the center thanked blood donors, they also united Ortiz with the man whose blood helped keep him here with the family he loves.
We save a lot of lives at the trauma center, but we don't save a single life that hasn't already been saved in the pre-hospital setting.
1 year in, the program has 484 donors and has saved an estimated 150 lives, changing everything for not just patients, but the people who love them too. Erica Zucco, KENS 5 Eyewitness News.